grab yourself a cup of hot cocoa or a warm beverage of your choice and get cozy with me as we dive into this month's December energy forecast. Welcome to the Emily the Mystic Show, and welcome to the holiday season and a really magical time of the year, celebrating another year of energy updates and almost 1 year of the Emily the Mystic Show podcast. I am so grateful to have you here with me as we embark on another month together. And I have to say, I'm so looking forward to this seasonal change heading into December. I personally love the holidays. I'm a big holiday girl. I grew up in a Roman Catholic household and celebrated Christmas my whole life, and we are big Christmas people in the Lewis family. Big, big, big Christmas people. We make Christmas a multi-day event, starting with my mom's birthday, which is on December 20th, and then throughout the whole week, we spend days together cooking and eating and doing lots of fun holiday things. So this time of the year is really important to me. And I personally find that there is a lot of magic that happens during this time because the collective in general, no matter what holiday you celebrate, I feel like there's a bit of a magic in the air that everybody, whether you're spiritual or not spiritual, everybody just kind of senses that this time of the year is special because it also means community. It also means family. It also means sacred time together. And of course, we live in a very commercialized world. So the businesses and so forth out there have made this all about presents and material items and so on and so forth. So yes, of course, that is a theme that runs amongst this holiday time of the year. But it's also just a time where I feel like people have more faith and more hope in what's possible and what's possible for them. And when the collective is that way, when we're in this energy, when there are millions of children all over the world who are thinking about Santa Claus coming to pay them a visit, there is just this really special, this special quality at this time of the year. And I feel it. I just got full body chills as I was saying that. It's really, really a special time. And we can make the most out of that. You in your own life, whatever holiday you celebrate, you can make the most out of this time of the year by engaging in seeing that hope, having a hopefulness for the future, and being open and receptive to what the universe is bringing your way. So I think that's a perfect introduction for getting into this energy update. If you're new here, welcome. These monthly energy forecasts provide you a glimpse, a snippet into the collective experience that we're going through, designed uniquely for you, my listener, knowing that you're taking a spiritual path, knowing that you're here to live your soul's most aligned life. We really take a look at how the planetary alignments could be impacting you, as well as what I'm channeling through the Akashic Records to give you a really well-rounded perspective and approach to what's going to be happening during the month ahead. And these are my most downloaded, most enjoyed episodes. So thank you from me to you for making this podcast the most fun, this most beautiful, most fun, most exciting thing. And of course, if you haven't yet, leave a review for the Emily the Mystic Show podcast wherever you listen to this podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube. And if you email us a screenshot of the review, the instructions will be in the show notes. You will get a free month of the Emily the Mystic membership. And you get to join my community. I am really intent on this lifetime creating a community of like-minded spiritual seekers and souls like yourself who are here to embrace the mysteries of life and get to know your spiritual self. And if you're looking for like-minded people, we've got a great community already, and I would love to have you in there. So as my gift from me to you, come on down and join us in December or whenever you listen to this episode. So that's just a quick little preview of what's to come this month. I like to also lead these episodes with sharing with you some personal updates, some business updates, so you can see what's going on in the Emily the Mystic world. As you know, we had a bit of a challenging month energetically during November. If you listen to my November energy update, which was released right before the election here in the United States, I shared with you that things were going to be unexpected and there's going to be a lot of friction and things were going to feel uncomfortable. And sure enough, they definitely were. No matter what side of the political spectrum you were on, there's definitely has been increased tension in the collective. And that tension in and of itself, I've noticed an uptick in anxiety amongst people, myself included. I am not immune to it. No matter how many boundaries I set, I still, with the spiritual world and with the collective energy, I still am privy to what's going on out there as well. And so depending on how the election impacted you personally, you may have had a lot of feelings and emotions come up around the results or even just the experience itself. It was a very, very, very intense time. I wanted to do my best to be a neutral party for you, a safe space for you to explore what I continue to call the gray area. That is what we're experiencing as a collective. We are at the precipice of some major generational change. This world that we know it is going to be transforming and changing in all kinds of ways over the next few years and beyond. So I am privileged and pleased that I get to be one of your guides that you listen to along this journey, knowing that the way that things are today is not going to be the way that they are a year from now or 5 years from now. And there's so much gray area. So I keep telling my clients to get comfortable with being in the gray, that there is no black and white answer for anything, that there is no perfect way to live your life or no paint by numbers route that we can take for figuring things out. We're kind of dancing in the dark a little bit. We're kind of moving through, and I've been noticing this a lot in a lot of my clients, people in my life. They sense that they're on the edge of some change or that things in their life are going to be changing in a way that's different than the way they're living their life now, but they don't know what that completely is yet. They don't know how that's going to unfold tangibly or physically. Maybe they feel called to move and they don't know where they're moving to or what that's going to look like. Or maybe they feel called to make a really big shift in terms of business and they're wanting to change their branding and they're not sure what that's going to look like. Or they're moving into a different era in terms of their relationships. And again, we don't know what that's going to look like. Well, guess what, my friends? We are dancing in the gray area, dancing in the frequency of the unknown. And when we're dancing in the frequency of the unknown, this is the time when you get to really lean on your intuition and listen to what your truth is. Because your truth is going to be different than my truth. It's going to be different than someone else listening to this podcast, your partner, your friends, your family members. We all have different truth. And I know that can be hard to hear because we want there to be this one universal truth that makes sense for everybody. But it's time for you to establish your truth. It's time for you to lean in what's true for you and to follow your path throughout all of this collective transgenerational change that we're really going through. Pluto, the planet of transformation and the unknown, has changed signs. And Pluto's been moving in and out of Capricorn and Aquarius for, I believe, the last 2-ish years, last 1.5 years. So we've seen tastes of it. We've seen movement through there. We've seen previews of that. I've kind of been mentioning this if you've been listening to these energy updates all year. I've been sharing flavors of that as Pluto's been shifting and changing signs. And now for good, Pluto has finally moved out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. And if you have heard the term the age of Aquarius, we are finally there. We're moving into it. I shouldn't say we're there, actually, because this is big change. This is 20 plus years of growth and change. And so there's going to be a lot of things that are shifting at a collective level. And you may notice, I'm really noticing this. And I, dear listener, don't know how old you are listening to this episode. So I'm sharing this with you, not to judge you or because, again, I don't know how old you are. But I've been noticing with my baby boomer parents, as well as the parents of a lot of my clients from the baby boomer generation, that they are feeling a sense of increased anxiety and fear of the unknown because all of a sudden they live in a world that they don't recognize. Technology is rapidly changing. Artificial intelligence is everywhere now. We're starting to see these technological advancements and things that didn't exist, at least for me being part of the millennial generation, that didn't exist in my childhood. We didn't have cell phones, and I didn't have a cell phone until, I was, oh my gosh, maybe 15 years old. So I lived a big, first 15 years of my life without that sort of technology available at my fingertips. So we're surrounded by this technology and it can be very jarring. So I'm noticing that people from older generations are starting to feel that fear and that worry. And so for you, if maybe you are from that generation, or your parents or your family members, caregivers, people in your life are from that generation, know that they're experiencing a lot of loss in terms of they may even be losing loved ones, but they're also experiencing the loss of this world as they knew it. And that's hard for them. And you may be feeling and sensing that in the people in your life experiencing that. Well, now that Generation X is starting to, they are the people who are starting to be in power here, and are also the people who are starting to gain more visibility in terms of leadership and so on and so forth in our world. We're really starting to see things take a massive generational shift. And again, I don't know what that's going to look like. You'll probably see a lot of astrologers out there talking about how we're undergoing, massively changing times. The key to know is that, and everything in this episode is kind of geared around this energetic foundation that I'm sharing with you, that things are changing. We don't know what it's going to look like yet. We're dancing in this gray area. We're having to get comfortable with being in the unknown. And I know for a lot of people that that's really scary, and that brings up a lot of fear. So throughout this episode, I'm going to be encouraging you to lean into what is true for you, to find ways in your life to help you deal with stress and emotions that may come up around all of this, even connected with the people in your life, and to let yourself really just kind of sit with where your intuition is taking you over the next year and beyond. That's really going to be key. This month, December, is really all about reflecting, going inwards on yourself, your life, your values, your truth, and making aligned decisions and choices from that place and from that space. You will have listened, and if you haven't listened to it yet, I highly recommend to listen to last week's episode featuring Catherine Wheeler. She is an amazing astrologer, human design gal, really well-rounded in terms of the gifts that she uses. And she shared a lot of interesting information about being a new paradigm leader. That is really what the Age of Aquarius is all about, is finding and following your path and finding and following your most authentic truth, because that's going to lead you to where you need to go. So make sure you listen to that episode if you haven't yet, because there's a lot of important information in there that may really help you discern your truth and where you're going and your path and where you're heading next. So that's really what's the big gist of what we're sensing, that we're on the precipice of some big change. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. We don't know what that's going to feel like yet. And we kind of have to learn individual toolkits for taking care of ourselves, for managing our stress and our anxiety, for managing our healing, and letting that help us create greater capacity for navigating the stressful situations and the changing times as they happen. So what else is going on for me? Well, I've been teaching the Galactic Akashic Records as well as light language and my Akashic Records certification behind the scenes. So it's been a really teaching-focused fall for me. Teaching the Galactic Akashic Records has been really enlightening because it's forcing me to go into the light and the dark of the galactic space, the benevolent and the malevolent, and has been encouraging me to do some healing work on myself and clients behind closed doors related to more of the darker side of the galactic realm. We're talking about some of the negative galactic beings that exist out there, which I've been experiencing some challenges and some friction when it comes to sharing this information publicly. It's something that I've been doing behind closed doors for a while, but you were not going to find a YouTube video on my YouTube channel about some of the more malevolent galactic groups that will likely be coming down the pipeline in 2025. But until then, I have been doing my own work behind closed doors to prepare myself for that, because there's a lot there. In next week's episode with Lauren on Earth, you're going to be hearing more information about that, about some of the malevolent galactic interferences and influences that are contributing to the stress that we feel as a collective at this time. So you'll get more information about that next week, so hang tight there. But just to share with you that that's something that's really been coming forward for me and along the way, I've also been doing more trance channeling of some of these benevolent galactic groups. So the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians. I have been allowing myself to be a channel for these really profound messages that have been coming forward for these different groups. And I don't know how this is going to unfold. We do know that on the world stage, there are these trials that are going on where people from the United States government are on trial and testifying their truth about seeing different alien spacecraft and being part of different UFO technology projects. And that's really fascinating, right? Because the whole galactic alien intelligence sphere as becoming more prevalent with what we're talking about. Netflix has been producing a lot of different alien documentaries. So I think that on a collective level, we are being titrated with this information to judge how the collective is going to respond and to react to it. And as I say this, I'm starting to sway, which means I'm starting to channel. So it feels to me that, and I said this at the beginning of 2024 during my 2024 energy forecast, I said that there was going to be more cosmic disclosure. We were going to become aware of more alien interference. And that is happening. That prediction did come true, especially with these trials that are happening, becoming more publicly available information. So I know, and do I think that aliens are going to be visiting us in 2025? Not necessarily, but they'll be here. They're coming. The Galactic Channel here herself wants to tell you that they will be here in my lifetime. And part of my work is helping you prepare for that. And I get the chills as I say that because it's really important that galactic contact will happen. And there is more advanced life out there than what we see on Earth. And not to say that humans aren't advanced, because we are complex, multidimensional human hybrid beings with cosmic extraterrestrial DNA. And we are part of that project of this massive transformation that planet Earth is going on. So this galactic work that I'm doing is going to become more important than ever before. And I hope that you decide to be on the ride with me for that, because there is more to do there. There's more work for me to do there. and our collective is just starting to get ready for it. But you listening to this podcast as a star seed, you are ahead of the curve, ahead of the times. You already know. You're like, yep, I'm a Pleiadian, and I've also, my point of origin is from Lyra, and I've spent all of this time in Arcturus, and I'm here to share my Arcturian healing technology with the world. Fantastic. If that's you, yay. And if you don't necessarily resonate with the galactic stuff, that's okay too. Again, non-judgment here, but just so you can be filled in on what my trajectory is and where things are going, there's even more cosmic influence in the Emily the Mystic space that will be coming down the pipeline. And it's been really fun to work on my trance channeling gift. Again, something that I share in my membership, something that I haven't shared publicly, but may come through on some future podcast episodes. So we'll see what happens there. And for me personally, as I am doing my own due diligence to become a clear channel, I've had to make some decisions in my own personal life to help me on that process, one of which has been to end a 12-year relationship with the birth control pill, which I was taking since I was a teenager, and took it to help me manage my cycle, manage my painful symptoms that I was having every single month as a teenager. And now that I know a lot about healing, and now that I know a lot about the process that I know in my own life for how I heal and how I can work with my body to heal, I have so much less fear of stopping this medication, letting my hormones realign, rebalance themselves, just doing their thing, me doing my energetic healing thing, them doing their hormonal balancing thing, and taking some Chinese medicine supplements to help with that process, which I will explain in a moment. But so far, it's been pretty good. I'm about 3 weeks in, so I feel pretty good at this point in time. I can't really give you too much of an update on how that feels. Future episodes on that to come. But so far, I definitely notice a big shift in how I feel, how I sleep. I feel more energy. I feel more connected with my body. I feel like there's less of an interference, truly, within my systems, which has been really fascinating. So I'm looking forward to see how this journey progresses. The company that I absolutely love that I've chosen to work with to support me in this is Elix. Elix is a Chinese medicine hormonal balance company that their mission is helping women just like me and perhaps like you, my listener, in balancing your hormones, getting your health back, taking back control over your body, feeling your best, gaining more energy, navigating your mental health symptoms. So I have chosen to partner with them. I've been taking their products for a couple of weeks now and really love the way that I feel. So I'm specifically taking their cycle balance as well as their daily harmony. And those are both liquid supplements that I take once a day. They have really been helping me regain connection with my body, regain my energy, regain my sovereignty, really. And I feel really blessed and grateful to be working with them. So if you're curious about using Elix, I'll update you as I go along. Only time will tell. But for now, I feel amazing and I absolutely love this partnership. So you can use my code 15EmilyL on elix.com for cycle balance, for their daily harmony, or for any of their other Chinese medicine supplements that they offer. That link will be below in the show notes. For me, I have one thing I've noticed, and it's 4:44 p.m. my time as I record this and say this. I know when it's ready for me when I'm ready to take action on something or to do something. But I have to sit in almost this waiting period of processing before the light switch turns. So to give you an example, because birth control is what we're talking about here, I received the download that it was time for me to go off the pill in January of 2024. So that now is, oh my gosh, that is 11 months ago now at this point, almost a full year. So I had to be open to how my intuition needed to guide me until I felt ready to actually say goodbye and throw the pills away. And it, for me, felt like a light switch was going off when I knew that it was time to be done. I say this to you because as someone who actively works on her intuition, actively works on getting to know my own process for how I navigate life, I can't always take action on things immediately right away. There is usually a period of time that I call after we have planted the seed. This is a period of time where the seed is really germinating on an idea or a project that I want to work on. So there's a period of time, and then when it happens, I know that I'm ready to make change because it feels natural. It feels like it makes sense. There's a divine timing component. And this process, this way that I move through the world when it comes to major decision making, has been absolutely instrumental for me in gaining trust in the universe to support my back with anything, any changes, any new movement, any things that I've done in my life, such as quitting my corporate job, starting the business, starting my Akashic Records certification. Every single time a big decision like this has come up, I have the initial awareness. I sit in that sort of germinating period, and then the switch flips, and I know it's time to act. So for you, when it comes to any major decision, it's what can be really helpful when it comes to your journey of gaining trust in the universe to support you in making those big decisions, is to look back at 3 major decisions that you've made in your life, whether that's picking the university that you went to, maybe that's when you met your partner, maybe that's when you decided to have a child, maybe that is when you decided to embark on a course of study or write the book, or any major decision that you've made, buy your car. I want you to think back on your process of that initial first download, idea, inspiration that you got, that it was time to take action on something. I want you to look at what happened in the in-between phase. Was I thinking about it? Was I analyzing it? Was I making the pro and con list? Was I letting things in my life unfold? What do we do in the in-between? And then what happens leading up to that main big decision? Are there crazy things that happen in your life? Are there tests that you get? Are there strange situations that pop up, or does it feel easy and fluid and effortless? It's going to be different for everybody, but it's important. And one of my keys to manifestation for myself is when I look back at these major decisions that I've made, I can see my process and I can see, yeah, it was obvious that I needed to go off of the pill and I just needed to give myself some time. And during that sort of germinating phase, after I had planted the seed of stopping taking the pill, I had a series of events and things that unfolded in my life that taught me more about going off of birth control, that helped me get educated, that helped me talk to my doctor, that helped me do all of these things. So I felt really prepared and supported when I finally made the decision to do it. And I find that if we go back and look at our biggest manifestation stories and successes, you can see in your own lived experience that there's been so much there that's unfolded for you. I think one of the big keys with manifestation, and this is big because December is such a month of magic and fun and miracles and so on and so forth, that this is a really great time to plant the seed for those big things that you want to manifest. And you can use your soul's wisdom, experience, and knowledge and how those things have come to fruition in order to help you create the things that you are desiring now. Instead of looking outwards and looking out at someone else's cookie cutter framework for manifestation that may not work for everybody. I know there are a lot of people out there who claim that they have the, one size fits all approach to manifestation. And I find it so individualized and personalized. And the biggest place to start is analyzing your own history with manifesting anything that you've made in your life. One of the key pieces for me, and again, this is just a tool. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach to manifestation. This is just a tool and something that I use that's really worked for me, especially the last few years, is I use my Akashic Records to get really targeted advice and guidance from my Akashic Records spirit guide team on what to do next and what needs healing to help me get into the energetic place to be available for, open to, and receptive to making the change and experiencing the life shift that needs to happen in order for my manifestation to come in. So what do? I go into my Akashic Records and I ask them, what's blocking me from this thing that I want? Or what do I need to know about going off of the birth control pill? Or what do I need to know about this offer that I want to create in my business? And getting advice and guidance from them has been really important and has given me so much feedback from my spirit guides who, by the way, spirit guides are never the end-all, be-all. They do everything for you beings, but they're here to help you. They're here to guide you. So I find working with them to be an excellent tool because we don't operate in a vacuum. You're not going through this life alone by yourself. Your spirit guides and your community and the people around you are co-creating your manifestations with you. So the records can be this place to go to receive guidance for what you're looking for and to help you plan those next steps, or even in the first place to get clarity on what's blocking your intuition and why you feel like you don't have any idea on what's next for you. By the way, it's okay to be there. And we, myself included, we all need to spend time in those moments where we don't really know what's coming down the pipeline for us, and that's okay. So with that in mind, it is a big initiative of mine to make sure that more people have access to the Akashic Records as a tool for their own self-healing and manifestation journeys. So I have created a beautiful mini course that's called Remember Your Records. It's designed to take you into my process of learning how to access your Akashic Records for yourself, meet your Akashic Record keepers who are the spirit guides supporting you, as well as how to ask the right questions and discern information through your records. I take you through a whole training where you learn how the records were created in the first place, information about the journey of the soul, past, present, and future. What is the soul doing? What is the whole purpose of it all? What's the meaning of life? I take you through all of that information and more. It's at a very high level. And your soul, if you feel called to it, it will feel like a homecoming because you're being guided to a tool that your soul has learned how to use for lifetimes. So it's really amazing. And I find that it can be just such an instrumental piece of having these guides available to you who can answer any of your questions that you have come up at any time. It's just really fun and also really impactful. Very highly transformative. So this is my Remember Your Records course. I call it the Remember Your Records course because I am teaching you a process that you have used for lifetimes. It's a remembrance journey. This is not your first time accessing them. So I will leave the link for that below in the show notes. And this can be a special thing that you treat yourself to this holiday season. I encourage you to give it a try, see how it goes. And if you fall in love with it, then this is your foray into my Akashic Records certification journey, which is a full 12-week process where I not only teach you how to access your own records, but I teach you how to access the records of others and actually do this work professionally for clients. So if you're not sure if that journey is meant for you and you want to practice the records first and kind of get comfortable with that, then the Remember Your Records course is for you. And if you decide, like, I love this, I love learning from you, Emily, I'm ready for the next step, there will be a coupon code in there for you to get some money off of your purchase of the Akashic Records certification itself, which, by the way, starts in January. So if you know that you're ready for that journey, the journey of learning to read your own records, as well as how to help other people and transform their lives, my next certification cohort will begin in mid-January and will last for 12 weeks. It's a really fully comprehensive journey. So I teach you, especially this is great for my intuitive psychics, mediums, energy healers out there who have never learned client-facing skills. Like, what do we do if a client asks me about money blocks? What do I do if a client asks me for health guidance? What do I do if a client comes to me needing relationship healing between them and their mother or their spouse? I take you through how to respond to any possible client situation that could come your way so that you feel really prepared. We let go of the imposter syndrome and you grow in confidence within yourself as a channel so that you can start to do this work for a living or start to weave it into your business in a way that mirrors your soul's journey. So that's coming down the pipeline for you as well. And a couple of other things that I'll mention here before we get into more of the forecast. It is also the holiday season, which I love. I have a background in the corporate retail world. I used to be a retail buyer. So listen, I love the holiday decor. I love the holiday items. I love shopping at this time of the year. I love buying gifts for my family members and friends. So if you do too, or if you want to treat yourself to a couple of things, I have now created my Amazon Emily the Mystic storefront with lists of all of my favorite items. Remember Oprah's favorite things? Did you ever watch that when you were a kid? Well, I sure did, and I loved it and looked forward to it every year. So I get to create my own favorite things. You're going to be able to find my list of favorite Oracle card decks, my favorite books, and lots of different treats, fashion, home decor items that are perfect for your holiday shopping journey. So make sure to check that out. And finally, if you're looking for spiritual community, my Emily the Mystic membership is the place for you. In this month's membership, Emily Flood of M Yogi Fit is going to be teaching us about shamanic journeying, which is going to be incredible. And we will also be doing a future vision workshop for 2025 in the beginning of January with me. So if you're ready to embark on your manifestation journey and allowing yourself to tune into what's coming down the pipeline for you, my membership has got some resources for you. So that is what's going on here in the Emily the Mystic world. Okay, my dear listener, let's get into what to expect during the month of December. So I am coining this month as the month for miracles. I am ready for all kinds of miracles, manifestation, and abundance this month. And I'm setting that intention for all of us to hold the space for you to embark on a journey of receiving the miracles that want to come through for you in your life this month. So if you accept on being on the journey of the month of miracles, I'm going to have you repeat the following phrase out loud with me 3 times. Then I'm going to have you write it down and take this phrase with you wherever you go. I would encourage you to say it once a day in the morning as your intention for the day. And then let's see what opens up for you towards the end of the month. We'll chat about this again in January and we'll see where you left off. So here is the phrase. Repeat after me. I am open to be surprised and delighted by an endless supply of miracles, magic, and abundance today. I am open to be surprised and delighted by an endless supply of miracles, magic, and abundance today. I am open to be surprised and delighted by an endless supply of miracles, magic, and abundance today. So that's your affirmation for this month. And I will tell you, my word of the year for 2024 was magic. And boy, did that unfold in spades. Universe has surprised and delighted me in endless ways. I can't even begin to talk about it because it fills me just with so much joy and have so much that I can say on that note. But I begin to really activate that trust that the universe can bring me these opportunities by saying and affirming to myself daily that I am open and that I am open to be surprised and delighted by endless miracles, magic, and abundance. So really just getting clear on your intention for yourself, especially during this time of the year when the energy is available for you to receive more, knowing that is exactly like what I said earlier in this episode, with it being the holiday season, people have faith and hope for the future. Let's really tap into that and allow ourselves to witness more miracles, magic, and abundance happening in your life this month. So with that being said, a couple of planetary things to note. Number one, Mercury goes retrograde. It's already retrograde technically when you listen to this. So we'll be almost to the end, actually, by the time you listen to this episode. Mercury is retrograde from November 25th to December 15th, with the shadow period ending on January 2nd. So that basically means that Mercury is retrograde during most of the holiday season. And with that in mind, because Mercury goes retrograde 3 to 4 times a year, which is a lot. So a lot of our year is spent in a Mercury retrograde. Do what you can to just create space for yourself, for healing, and to have patience no matter what comes up in your life. We also have a Mars retrograde that's happening. The sign of Mars will be moving in between Leo and Cancer from December 6th through February 23rd. So this is going to be a big story that is happening and unfolding starting on December 6th, 2 days after you listen to this episode. So Mars is the planet of work. It is also the planet of big, impactful things happening. Technically, it's the planet of war. It's the planet of anger. It's the planet of the masculine frequency. So when it comes to Mars, it really rules over things like work and career and efforting and your fitness routine and the way that you feel about situations, specifically is your anger being triggered in emotional situations. So with that in mind, with this Mars retrograde, things could feel a little bit funky over the course of the next 2.5 months. It, to me, really feels like a need, especially this month with the holiday season, to be really clear on your boundaries, what you're available for and what you're not available for. I feel like, and here's the overall gist of what I'm receiving from the guides and record keepers, is that because of these 2 retrogrades, you may feel a heightened intensity around the holiday season, and you may feel a bit frazzled. Let's say on the lower end of the spectrum, you commit yourself to too many things, you're overburdened, you're taking responsibility for too many things, you're exhausted, you're up all night wrapping packages, like you got too much going on. That is what I am nervous about, and I don't want you to fall into that trap. I want you to be very clear and discerning this month with how you're spending your time and energy, where you're spending your time and energy, and to be really specific and intentional with your day-to-day choices, routines, activities, and your boundaries. If you get invited to too many holiday parties, let's be really discerning with which ones you want to go to and which ones you don't. I love using muscle testing for this. So if I get an invitation to something and I'm not sure if it's a yes or a no, I use my body as a pendulum to determine, do I want to go to this or do I not want to go to this? So for me, I will stand up straight and I will ask my body, is it in my highest aligned good to go to this holiday party? And then depending on the way that my body moves, it's either going to be a yes or a no. So I have a resource for this in the Intuition Activation Academy, which is my course on psychic development. I also have a resource for this in my Akashic Records certification. So those are resources behind closed doors if you have access to either of those courses with me. If you don't, that's okay. You can just do a little bit of Googling on muscle testing. That can be a way that you use your discernment to decide what to attend and what not to attend. I also really want to encourage you to be really clear with your boundaries. Again, with the Mars retrograde, you may see that people, and with everything I shared earlier in this episode, you may see that people get really overwhelmed really quickly, or you may find yourself, I know for me personally, this is something I'm really working on. You may find yourself stepping into be the role of the coach, the counselor, the therapist for the people in your life. And this is the month where we can't be doing that. This is the month where you have to kindly, lovingly, even if someone asks you if you're available to hold space for them, and for you it's a no at that time, you have to be really clear with what you're available for and what you're not. Because you may feel pulled in a million different directions, and you're going to have to listen to your compass. To not let other people's needs, wishes, wants, or desires, obligations, or guilt, or your own internal guilt or shame dictate what you say yes to and what you say no to. You have to be really discerning with what is true for you. And I know that's not easy, and I know that can be uncomfortable, and I know that it's not a fun journey, but trust me when I say this, the tighter my boundaries are with family, with friends, the better I feel, because when I show up in a space and I know it's in alignment for me, I really enjoy myself. I know it's exactly where I need to be, and things really unfold from there. Versus if I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure I want to go to this, and then I go, and then there are 10 weird things that happen. I feel like, oh, totally pulled off center, and then I have to work to get myself back to center. Whereas it would have been easier for me to just stay on my center point doing my thing versus to get pulled in somebody else's direction. So listen to your body. Listen to your body and what it's telling you how you feel. You may need to take some time for rest this month. It is Mercury retrograde, so you may feel like my nervous system is on overdrive and I really need to just chill out, take a few deep breaths. If this is you, I highly recommend one thing that's really been working amazingly for me, and unfortunately, they don't have an affiliate partnership. Otherwise, I would be the first person to sign up for it. I love Alexis Smart Flower Essences. I talk about them a lot on my podcast. My one that I've been taking over the last month is the Alexis Smart Unburden Flower Essence for stress relief. It has done not what I thought it would do. I thought it would relieve all of the stress in my life. Instead, it sharpened what was creating stress, like the birth control, like some other family situations, dynamics, other things going on. It showed me very clearly what I do not have the capacity for. And therefore, I had to say, sorry, I have to set a boundary here, and I can't be able to provide this for you or to help you with this. I can give you a resource, but I can't be the space holder for you for this, as an example. So I really love the Unburden remedy, again, for stress relief. If you're like me and you tend to carry a lot of responsibility on your shoulders for other people, for the collective, it helps you take the load off by learning what works for you and setting the boundaries with the people who are used to you giving from a disempowered state. It's very helpful for that purpose. So highly recommend that you get your hands on a bottle of Unburden if that is resonant for you. So this month, I really feel like let's spend the time getting clear on our mission, on our purpose, on our steps forward into 2025. Let's take some time to go inwards. Let's be really still, really quiet. Take some time for solitude. When I am in those quiet, neutral moments for myself, and it doesn't have to be just sitting in silence, by the way, it's more so that you don't have external stimuli. So, for example, when you're listening to this podcast, you may get some thoughts or inspiration, but I guarantee you're not going to get your biggest download while listening to this podcast. If you think back on when you've gotten your biggest downloads and ideas, they probably come from when you were in the shower, on a walk, driving to work, doing things where you didn't receive a lot of external stimuli. When you're in that neutral energy, you're in a very receptive and open space. You're really in your divine feminine. So doing things like taking a bath, a shower, a walk, again, not listening to the podcasts or the intense music or having a conversation with another person, but really just kind of being in your own bubble and being receptive, you're going to get what you need. You're going to get the juicy inspiration. You're going to get the thoughts and ideas and vision of where you're going in the new year. But you have to create that neutral time. You have to create that receptive time. And I find that most of us who feel like we haven't gotten the download or we're annoyed at the universe because we don't know our next steps, it's because you're so busy catering to other people, doing other things, listening to a million podcasts, watching all the YouTube videos, which is great. And there's a place and a time for the curiosity and the learning. But also this month, I really feel called to tell you to give yourself the opportunity to just be, to just be and to allow what needs to come through to come through. For me, I get big downloads when I am at the gym. Maybe I have my headphones in, but I'm not necessarily listening to music. The headphones just block the noise. So I'm at the gym, I'm working out, I'm in an energetic flow state. I get a lot of inspiration. Or when I'm cooking a meal or I'm doing something where I'm moving around, engaging my body without the external stimuli. That's when you can be an open and clear channel. I really want you to focus on that this month. Let's really lean into that intention that we set around allowing in an endless supply of miracles and abundance. The key factor is you have to be open to it. And I know that we say that we're open to the miracles and the abundance, but then we tell the universe otherwise by worrying, overthinking, listening to the opinions of people who are in scarcity and lack, surrounding ourselves with the friends or the family members who are not trusting or who are having a really hard time with what's going on in their life. Do you see how when you're exposing yourself to more of that negative polarity stimuli, it's going to create a contracted energy where you're not open to receive? I really want you to practice being open to receive this month. One way that you can do that is you can go outside, have the sun on your skin, and just be. Because you are receiving frequency of the sun on your skin. You're breathing in the fresh air. You're connected with nature because you're outside. That is a beautiful space to be in. Allow yourself to receive the helping hand of someone holding the door for you, giving you their spare change, getting that free cup of coffee, getting the invitation to something really exciting. Little ways, focusing on receiving in little ways. I get chills up and down my body saying that. That energy creates magnetism because you are in a state of open receptivity. You are trusting that you will receive exactly what you need exactly at the right time. And you are letting yourself listen. Sometimes all we need to do is slow down, listen, and we'll get the answer. Might not be the answer that we expect, but it's an answer. And from there, we can decide how we want to proceed. Again, by following what I said earlier in the podcast of looking back on how you've been successful and how you've manifested some big things for yourself. What do you do in that in-between time? I want you to really analyze that. You'll have a few key things that either happen or pop up that you need to be aware of. And that's what I want you to do next, because that's leading you down the path to what is coming for you. Oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful. So engage in that playfulness this month and engage in having that balance. And when you are in this more balanced plane where you're not overextending yourself, but you're also putting yourself out there a bit, you're not staying hidden in a way and you're not doing anything, you're still actively engaged in life, that is when the magic and the miracles come in. And I cannot wait to hear what you manifest this month. Fun times. It can also be fun in December, I find, to write down a Christmas wish list, or it doesn't have to be Christmas, but it can be a wish list of the things that you want to manifest from the universe. Knowing that you may get some of them this month, but knowing that that list will carry you through into 2025, that can just be a really fun exercise to get the wheels turning and to declare to the universe what you are open to create. Yes, and with the winter solstice happening in mid-December, I believe it's December 20th or 21st, the shortest day of the year, it's a really good time to go inwards, to reflect on your year, take some time and space to do that. I find it really important because that will help you get set up for success for 2025 and beyond. Okay, my dear friend, let's dive into your message for the month. So every single month, I pull a selection of cards. And this month, we have to use the Seasons of the Witch Yuletide Oracle deck because it is Yuletide. Yuletide is the celebration of the winter solstice. So with that being said, with that in mind, today I have pulled 4 cards for you. 4 cards. So you get to pick your color. I'm going to give you a list of colors here. I want you to follow your intuition. I want you to pick a color that resonates for you right now. Does not need to be your favorite color. It is just a color that resonates. So here we go. The colors are red, green, silver, gold. Red, green, silver, gold. Okay. So pick your color, red, green, silver, or gold. First color, red, we have the Ringing the Bells card. I'm showing the images in the YouTube video version of this podcast. On the card pictured is a moose with a Christmas tree and a collar with bells. Ringing the bells. Bells and Yule go hand in hand. They're used to create music. You'll often find a Santa or two swinging one around, and bells are always attached to sleighs. They are genuinely joyous, but can be used for more than simple musical instruments. Bells also raise energy to increase rituals and the effectiveness of spells while cleansing negative energy to drive away malicious spirits. It's essential to keep your home's energy clear all year long, but especially during the winter season when you spend more time indoors and with loved ones. Energy tends to hide in dark places and dusty corners that haven't seen a full day's sun in some time. And like your space, the soul can be full of tiny pockets of low vibrational energy that you may not realize are there. The same goes for everyday living. There could be people in your life who are full of low vibrations, but you're so used to having them in the background that you simply haven't noticed in a while. You have pulled Ringing the Bells because something distressing is in your life and you are being called to banish it. It could be a person, an object, or even a place. What comes to mind first that is bothering you will be the cause. Perhaps you're holding on to something from a past relationship that makes you sad. Or it could be a friend who, despite how much you love them, brings you down a little when they're around. It may not seem like a big deal, but your energy takes a hit every time you're in the presence of low vibrational company. You are being guided to slowly and lovingly banish this person or thing from your life. If it's an object, it may be time to donate it or recycle. If it's a person, it could be as simple as spending less time with them or explaining how you feel so that they may change. As you clear this energy from your life, your vibration will rise and call more joy to you. So this goes back to everything that I was saying before around being really discerning with how you spend your time and your energy. If you pulled this card, there is something in your life that is causing you distress. You may not fully be conscious of it yet, but we're setting the intention that this brings the unconscious to the conscious so that you can be aware of who or what needs to be let go of, or a boundary that needs to be set, or a change that you need to make. This will help you feel so much better. Trust me, I just told you I've had to shift around a lot of things in my own life, so I'm on the journey right along with you. And this is for your highest and greatest good because it's going to shift your energy overall. So, letting go. That was for anyone who selected the color red. And now we move on to the color green. If you selected the color green, pardon me, pulling the card here. If you selected the color green, you receive the bear medicine card. There is a bear in front of a tree here on this card. Bear medicine. Bear, B-E-A-R, like an animal bear. Keywords: hibernation, meditation, and healing. You are such a strong, sacred soul, but even the strong need time to rest. Making space for solitude and healing is not a sign of weakness, but self-preservation and self-worth. It shows a deep love and honoring of your most sacred treasure, you. That is why healers, shamans, gurus, and guides all over the world make alone time a priority. Having a meditative practice allows you to heal mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. You have pulled the bear medicine card because you will find guidance, understanding, and healing for your situation in moments of solitude. You will begin to see things from a different perspective once you've had time to recharge your batteries. Your problem may even present itself in an entirely new light after some self-reflection. So the message that I shared about finding that quiet space and time, that neutral time for yourself, is especially important for you if you got this card. Very, very important. Okay, next color, silver. If you selected silver, your card, similar but different. Tranquility. This card has a cozy home with snow. There's some trees behind it, and there is actually a witch flying over the house, which we love. Keywords: peace, silence, and healing. To be at peace means to have inner harmony despite what is happening around you. Imagine how much easier Christmas shopping and holiday preparation would be if nothing ruffled your feathers. The same goes for life. You cannot change other people or external factors, but you can control how you respond to them. Inner peace is created through an acceptance of what is beyond your control. What is the purpose of worry if it cannot contribute to a change in your situation? You have pulled tranquility because what you have asked about is beyond your control. It may seem ominous, but the fear is often much worse than the thing itself. Excessive worrying will only cause you more pain and could lead to self-fulfilling prophecies. You are being guided to release stress and seek peace. Reach out for help if you feel like this is not something you can manage independently. Having another perspective could help ease the stress. We love this. So letting go of what is out of your control and being more at peace and accepting of what is for you. Really important. Final color, gold. We selected the Yule log card. There is a Yule log on this card, which is a spiral cake covered in chocolate with traditionally covered in mushrooms. My family ordered one last year and it was quite pretty for the holidays. All right, Yule log card number 44. Keywords: letting go, creation, God, and the goddess. Yule logs are burned for 12 days and represent the rising sun and the birth of a new sun god. Yule logs are decorated with all kinds of Christmas cheer, and when it is lit, each member of your household gets to take a turn, tossing in anything you'd like to release from the year. Each person gets to set an intention for what they hope to call into their lives. Yule logs represent the beautiful cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. When we clear out the old, we make space for all of the beauty left to come. Creation is a harmonic blend of both destruction and building. Some things must be cleared and destroyed so that you have room to welcome in something new. Channel the energy of the goddess by healing and letting go of anything holding you back. Then channel the power of the god by invoking action, courage, and determination. Both energies, male and female, are required to be successful in your dreams, goals, and manifestations. Yule log reminds you that what you wish for will take more than one approach. I love this. This is all about balance. And I have to say, too, my family did not do the tradition that is shared in here. We just bought one to eat, but they are still quite pretty if that calls to you. And again, this card is all about balance, knowing that it will take an equal combination of masculine and feminine energy. And I'm sure if you look back on any of your manifestations, you can see when you needed to wait versus when you needed to take action. And that balance of both is so important, right? So I want you to really lean into that this month. But this is a card of manifestation and joy. And I really feel called to say, for the person receiving this card, you've been doing a lot of work this year. You're really on a good path. So you just need to keep going. And whatever you feel like is out of balance, you will know, and you can take the necessary steps and changes that need to be made in order for that to come to fruition. So those are your messages for your holiday season this month, December. Of course, come back for your January energy forecast, and we will pick up where we left off by diving into 2025. Thank you again for being on this journey with me with the Emily the Mystic Show podcast over this last year. I had so much resistance to starting this podcast. The initial download came in probably in 2021. I waited for a long time. I recorded the first episode for this podcast in November of 2023 and did not actually take steps to launch the podcast until January of 2024. So it has not been a full year yet, but we're getting there. And it's been such a joy for me to create a show with you in mind where you've listened to a lot of interesting conversations. You've learned a lot about the spiritual space. You've learned a lot about yourself, I hope. And I hope this podcast continues to surprise and delight you in the way that it has for me. So with that being said, we're going to connect with our intention for December 1 final time, which is, I am open to be surprised and delighted by an endless supply of miracles, magic, and abundance. I want that so much for you from the bottom of my heart. I feel it. I hope you feel it too. And I am sending you so much love, holiday blessings. You'll be hearing from me in other episodes during the month of December. But because this is the December one, I want to wish you a joyful, miracle-filled holiday season. I love you. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.